Hey everybody, this is Josh with Haven Comics. Thursday night, which must mean it's time for shop talk. So maybe we should do that. Anyway, if you want us to do that, just stick around. We'll be here. As I said, it is Thursday night, which means we get together, we talk comics, we talk whatever floats our boat. And this week, I'm wondering how many people are starting back to school because my Facebook page is flooded with pictures of kids holding up signs saying my first day of this grade or that grade. And we did not do that kind of thing when I was a kid. That was not a thing. And my parents have no record whatsoever of any first day of school for me. Um, if I still have a yearbook, then I have a record that I existed at that time. But that's really about it. Um, what about you, Alan? Did you exist? Did you have records of your first day at school?
Uh, yes, there are records that I existed, but a lot of those records were in the form of letters home to my mother. Um,
Hello, mother.
yep.
Hello, father.
But that was back in the day when you could actually do stuff and get away with it.
Ah, yeah, letters from GV. Got it.
Yeah.
So I got to ask because it's very clearly visible. Um, you got in a fight. Uh, you were pulled over by the cops and you mouthed off. You said the wrong thing to your wife. You got a great big old yeah that.
Well,
I feel like people are gonna have questions. I did not do that to him.
I am no longer content in just being in one panel of Midnight Man. I want to be on the cover, and this is my audition for the Scar King.
The Scar King, huh? That's a new one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something I come up with.
I like it.
Um, yeah. No, dude, I honestly, I don't know what I did. I literally was leaving Publix the other day. This was Tuesday, and I mean, just torrential downpour as I was walking across the parking lot. I opened the car door, and I don't know if the car door slipped because I mean, it was like a animals pairing up on the side of the roads type downpour.
It was pretty
Um,
bad.
yeah, it was pretty bad. Um, and I started to lean in, and then next thing I knew, I was literally sitting in the car so mad that I could not even cuss, and I'm looking in the mirror, and blood is just running. And I had to sit there for a few minutes to get my bear. Dude, I mean, I plug your ears, kids. I knocked the shit out of myself, Josh. My head hurt for a day and a half.
You rang your own bell, huh?
Oh, I rang my own bell hard.
That
Um,
sounds like maybe you should have gone to a doctor. Like maybe you were concussed.
well, that's one of those things, though. There's nothing they can do about it. And I am the living example of that meme. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Hmm.
So it was, I'll suffer through this headache for a day and a half. I'll be all right. I just keep going.
Well, it looks like you clocked yourself pretty good there.
Oh, no, dude. Like I said, I hit. I sat down in the car. I was so mad, I wasn't saying a word. And I'm mad when I stop talking.
Lord have mercy. So what did you hit your head on? Because it kind of looks like somebody chucked a full can of green beans at your head.
No, I literally hit it on the corner of the actual door of the RAV4.
Got it. Got
Yep.
it. Well, that is quite a battle wound there.
Oh, yes, it was.
What's
And then,
happening, Keith?
and then I had to turn around and go to my daughter's orientation like that.
No, you did not.
Yep.
So that's when you walk in and you're like, first day at high school, you better beat up the richest kid's parent or something. Is that it?
I had one of those days Tuesday to where, I mean, the way everything happened and the timing of everything, I did not even get to sit down and eat dinner until like 15 till 9 Tuesday.
Oh, no,
By
thank
that
you.
by that point, my headache was dual layered. It was literally from hitting my head, plus it was hunger.
Yeah.
I was so over everything. I was literally sitting there like anger feeding myself cold baked spaghetti, just
Mm.
literally just like, Jesus, I love you. I'm ready to meet you now. I'm done. I'm gonna pull a Job. Just let me lay down and die and get this over with. Yeah, I mean I'm done for the day. I can't handle it. Get to
Now,
work the next day and they're like, "What happened?" I said, "It all started when I left work yesterday. I should have never left work."
I bet that got some eyes like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, it was bad.
I was, gosh, let's see, I would have been just in college, probably my freshman year, and I had to pick my sisters up from school. And then I had to run by Kinko's when it was across the street from UAH there. Remember that back then?
Yeah,
That Kinko's on University? And I had to run by there and do something.
it was like wasn't it the same parking lot as the old Circuit City?
No, it was across the street from that. Uh,
Oh, okay, yeah, no, okay, I remember what you're on Sparkman.
no, no, not on Sparkman, on University. It was
Okay, I
across
don't
the
remember
street
then.
from UAH. It was on the corner of where that red light is there. Circuit City would have been just a little further down and on the same side of the road as UAH.
Putman Drive.
I believe that's the light. Yes,
I think there's like a Dutch Brothers there now.
that's a Dutch Brothers now. Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
it.
Okay,
That
I'm
that
with you
Dutch
now.
Brothers used to be Kinko's. Um, anyway, my sisters said they were going to stay in the car, and I ran in to get whatever I had to get in Kinko's. I come running. As I'm coming out, it starts hailing. Just hail. Just lots and lots of. It's like all of the ice from the Sonic ice machine just got dumped out of the sky.
What do you
And
know about that, Keith? What do you know about that, Keith? Keith?
Does your mama know that you know about that, Keith? Uh, but anyway, so this hail just starts pouring from the sky. It's not big hail, but it's a lot of hail. And so I run to the car, and this was a 1977 Pontiac Grand Prix. This thing was huge. The door, just the driver's side door, is like 5 feet long from one end to the other. It was just a massive car. So I go to fling open that door, and when I do, I stepped on hail, and I'm in the process of flinging the door open, and I step on hail. So I just go whoop, boom, and I'm laying there in the parking lot, soaking wet. Hail, I'm laying on top of hail. Hail is dropping and hitting me. And all I hear is my sisters in the car laughing their butts off. They are just rolling. I'm like, come on, people. And then I read something the other day that reminded me of that incident, which was if you fall down and people laugh, you're still young. If you fall down and people rush to help, you're old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if I fell down right now, people would all be gathered around going like, how are we going to get that dude up?
My favorite one that I've seen recently, it was this woman, I think it was on Instagram, and she's like, "Okay, ladies, we need to have a talk for a minute. I need to share some man code that I have figured out with y'all.
Okay.
And, don't, and it's real simple. If you see your husband do something to hurt himself and he starts yelling, screaming, and cussing, he's okay. Do not ask him if he's okay. It's just going to make him mad. But if you see your husband hurt himself and he does not make any noise whatsoever,
Yep.
that is now because he is having to process a type of pain he has never experienced before. That's when you call 911.
That's
like,
not too far off, honestly,
fair
because
enough.
if I'm sitting here just going like, it's not good. It's not good. So first things first, I think we should talk about FarleyCon.
I only did, actually, technically, I did 3 pickups at FarleyCon, but that action figure has already been ripped open and is set up on my desk at home. So,
At home, it made it all the way home. I thought you were going to take that to work.
no, huh? It is definitely on top of the computer, looking down on the keyboard and making sure that nobody else touches the computer. Uh, FarleyCon, dude, I love that little show. I
It's
really
a
do.
great little show, isn't it?
It really is. Um, it's one of those where you can literally just walk through and browse and check everything out. One thing that I did grab out of the 3 items I picked up at FarleyCon, I did snatch a Daredevil issue number 26, which is the second appearance of Stiltman. We got some glare.
Not too dissimilar from the first appearance cover of Stiltman.
No, not too. Not, I mean, it's close. The rascal that had it, he worked with me on the price. He was a skinch high, but hey, we got it all worked out. That's all that matters. Oh boy, come home where he deserved to be. That's all that matters.
You did have to have that. That is Stiltman.
Yes, yeah, I do have to have it. Um, and then I did pick up the con exclusive Gilman cover. This is the foil for Mark Spears Monsters. I believe this was Monsters number 11. So, and then I picked up a new G.I. Joe classified figure, and that's all I really picked up at the show.
Well, I only picked up things from a couple of people, but I'm pretty excited about all of them. And I'm taking them out of the plastic so as to avoid that glare, because that glare is going to kill these things. Um, I took advantage of the fact that this is a very heavily GI Joe centric show, and I got to meet some GI Joe creators that make me really happy. So we're going to start off with. Uh, let's see, who are we going to start off? We're going to start off with the only non GI Joe's related thing I got. I got this from Steve Leialoha, who was the inker for a lot of the early G.I. Joe issues. He inked this cover over Jack Kirby. And this is one of the few Jack Kirby covers that was never used. When they put it in front of Stan Lee looked at it and said, "What the heck is that?" So this is a Jack Kirby cover that never saw the light of day. You can see Machine Man there in the background, but it's got all this psychedelic weirdness going on in front of him. And yeah, Stan said, "Nah, we're not doing that. That's weird." But it's a Jack Kirby cover that was not published, and that's unusual. And so to be able to get that a copy of that, and then to see to hear the story from the inker, the guy who inked over Jack Kirby, and to talk to him, well worth it. That was super cool. So yeah, we have a Jack Kirby unused Machine Man cover. I just thought that was super cool, and it made me happy. So there's that. Only non GI Joe thing I got. Same guy, Steve Leialoha. He, as I said, he worked with uh, Larry Hama on G.I. Joe in the early days. And Larry Hama did a sketch that then Steve inked over, and they had these to sell at the at FarleyCon, even though Larry Hama wasn't able to make it this year. And so I said, "Hey, I want to get one of these," and it's a copy but it looks like it's the original because it's on the blue lined paper and all that. But I said, hey, can you add something else to it? And he said, sure. What do you want? And I said, well, you got to have Scarlet on there. So he added Scarlet. She wasn't on there previously, but he said he tried to do it in the Larry Hama style. So pretty great. I like it. Made me happy.
That is cool.
It's good stuff. And since the whole first appearance of Storm Shadow was an issue with Scarlet and Snake Eyes too, I thought that was pretty great. So this was cool. I dug that, and I got to meet Steve Leialoha, which was something I'd wanted to do for a long time. Then I went down a little bit and over one aisle to where Ron Rudat was. And if you're going, Ron Rudat, who is that? Not a comic book artist per se, but he did the character designs for the action figures, the G.I. Joe action figures back in the day. So what Snake Eyes looks like, what Scarlet looks like, what Cobra Commander looks like, Firefly, all those guys, it's because of what Ron Rudat did. He designed the look of that character. So I had to pick this one up with Snake Eyes and Scarlet. And again, these are prints. These aren't the originals.
See, I love that one right there.
It's gorgeous. It's fantastic. But we got that.
Scarlet looking like she has not missed any time on that leg press machine in the gym.
Not at all. No. And then we got because you can't have Snake Eyes and Scarlet without Storm Shadow. So we got Storm Shadow.
Yeah, see, that one's great.
It's gorgeous. Makes me happy. And then you don't want a love triangle because that gets awkward. So you need a Cobra person for Storm Shadow to hang out with. So I couldn't resist. I got the Baroness.
See, out of the ones that you bought this weekend, that one was my favorite one.
The Baroness is great. And if you look at the costume, because that's what he was really doing, was designing the costume. What a killer job. And also, I mean, the fact that she wears glasses, that was him.
Yeah.
Right? And I asked him about that. I said, why did you make her wear glasses? Because that's just not a thing you see on a lot of people, right? They don't think to draw that. And he goes, I just always thought women in glasses look great. I was like, fair enough. And also, another thing this guy designed, the very simple, very linear, very graphic, and iconic Cobra logo. We would not have this Cobra logo if it weren't for Ron Rudat. How cool is that? So I picked that up also. That was good stuff. And then the big one, the coup de grace, Tony Cordos was there. He's also an inker, and he did inks over Paul Pelletier, I believe is how he actually pronounces it now. Over many of the run of Paul Pelletier's G.I. Joe run, he has done inks on those pages. So I picked up this page of the heat-seeking missile coming after Zartan on the Swamp Mobile. As he's riding through the mangroves trying to dodge it, and he grabs the tree branch and then pulls himself up, and the missile flies past going after his little swamp boat there, swamp skier. This it doesn't show up great on here, but man, this is a fantastic page. Look at that. Beautiful page. That makes me super happy. It's so good. So those were my pickups at FarleyCon. We spent most of the day hanging out with Mark Spears, and sometimes helping, sometimes just getting in the way. But we had a great time getting to hang out there. We got to hang out with Mark a lot. We hung out with Jeremy Long a pretty good bit. On the whole, just had a really good time, had a great day. If you're a fan of G.I. Joe in particular, FarleyCon is a great show. if you're just a fan of comics and or wrestling from back in the day, it's a great show. The atmosphere of that show, very low key, very like
Very
everybody's just there to have a good time. There's no pressure. Nobody's there because they just have to win the cosplay contest or they just have to do this or they have to do that. Just none of that. It was just really it's a low pressure, uh, beautiful, beautiful show in a great environment in a great location. Rocky and his team did a phenomenal job. Um, and that's a con that I want to just make it an annual habit to go to.
Yeah, that is definitely a con that, I mean, it is the perfect day trip.
Yep.
I mean, for us especially, 2 hours over, hang out with friends that we don't get to hang out with all the time, see everybody, joke around, cut up, pick up some, and it's not just GI Joe stuff. I mean,
No, not at all.
yeah, you can find a lot of stuff there. There was one booth that I was looking at. Yes, they didn't have, or at least I didn't see any of like the newer like GI Joe classified, but they had tons of GI Joe action figures from like the 80s
Yep.
and into the early 90s. The smaller, the 3-inch figures
Yeah,
with the
3 and 3/4 inch. Yep.
um, but they also had like tons of like He-Man and all the other stuff that we grew up with.
They had some like Airwolf action figures. Did you see that?
Uh,
Airwolf.
no, I didn't see that one.
I was like, I didn't even remember they made action figures for Airwolf. Uh, but no, they had there were all kinds of stuff. I will say, I felt I felt the pain of the guy whose booth kind of collapsed, and you just heard all of his wall books hit the ground.
Dude, it sounded like that garage door comes slamming down.
It was bad. Apparently, somebody said they saw it, and his whatever he had as his booth, his shelving, the where it was on the table, that end of the table just kind of collapsed, and the whole thing just.
Yeah.
So that was all of his high dollar books. I felt really bad for him because I've been there, and it was not fun. Um, but was there anybody in particular at FarleyCon that you got to see or you got to meet that you were just really excited by?
Um, Honestly, I did not go over and meet him, but one that I got to see that I ended up being a little more excited about than what I thought I would. And that was Dan the Beast Severin.
Mm.
I think the main reason why was that was I was kind of like, holy crap, that's actually him. That dude was, and a lot of people know him from like wrestling, from like WWF and that stuff. But my introduction to him was those original UFC tournaments that they did in the early 90s. And here comes this high school wrestling coach whose special is like the only person I've ever seen in something like that his specialty was Greco-Roman wrestling.
Mm.
Everybody it says like Taekwondo, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and it's got all this stuff. With him, it literally said Greco-Roman wrestling, and I thought that was the most bizarre thing ever, because it was like, how does that compete? But I remember watching this man. If he got his hands on you, your feet were going above your head. So to me, it was cool to see him.
How'd you like seeing Brutus the Barber Beefcake over there with those garden shears in his um, little setup there where it looked like a barber shop and he had the barber chair and all that? I thought that was a pretty clever way to set up a booth.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool setup for him. I never did see Devon Dudley though. It was like every time I walked over there, he was off doing something else.
Yeah, that was kind of how it was for me with Michael Golden and Renee Winterstatter. Like they didn't show up at their booth for hours and hours and hours on Saturday, and then when they did finally show up, I think all the people who had been looking for them had come by and figured, hey, he must not be here. Let's see.
Nosh, are you surviving all them wildfires out yonder direction?
Big Nosh.
Um, I really liked. Yeah, I mean there was some cool guests and everything. It was neat seeing some of that stuff, but I love the vendor area for FarleyCon.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, I love that vendor area for some reason. It's just so cool.
Hey, Alan, let me ask you this: as a small person, if Big Nosh and Big Josh were to both be in the same place at the same time, what do you think would happen?
I don't think we can handle all that sexiness at one time.
It would be a lot. A little the Airwolf theme song, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you prefer, Alan? This is a good question because you're gonna have to really crank back in your memory banks for this. Airwolf or Blue Steel? The two preeminent helicopter-based shows of the '80s.
Well, there was also another one that Roy Schreider did called Blue Thunder, and I actually had that helicopter when I was a kid.
Dang, that's rough, man.
Dude, it looks like it is just utter chaos out that direction right now.
Well, you saw they arrested a guy for arson.
Yeah, I saw they definitely got one, but I did he start the whole thing or was it just like in one area?
I don't know. Um, Airwolf was it for me too. I liked Airwolf a lot.
Yeah, but I thought Airwolf had Jan Michael Vincent in it.
It did.
That because I saw a commercial the other day and it was like one of the first Airwolf commercials and he was not in it.
Well, it could be like the first episode of Knight Rider did not have Hasselhoff in it.
Could be.
Right? You get this whole thing with the detective guy and all this stuff, and then the first episode, he dies, or
Yeah.
they leave him for dead. He gets left for dead. He's not dead. So, Flag, the Foundation for Law and Government. Yeah, what a name that is.
That's not terrifying to say out loud, but
Right? They found him and they did plastic surgery on him. And then what you figured out was they made him look exactly like this bad guy um, who's running around. The only difference between them was he had a smarmy look and an earring, and he had some product in his hair. But go back and watch Knight Rider, man. It is hilariously terrible. It's great in that, like, you remember that feeling you got when you were a kid. But so many of the things that he encounters are like, there's only so many ways a car can solve crimes, right? Can stop bad guys. Uh, but it's funny. It's funny.
um see I'm Automan old. You remember Automan?
I do.
Then I loved Automan.
14-hour days suck, man. You can only do that for so long before you get wore out.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I've been there and I'm glad I did not have to do it any time soon again.
oh man, that's going back a bit. I don't remember that one at all.
Salvage with Andy Griffith?
I have to go back and look at that. I do not recall that at all. Andy, he's off to the Google. He's already headed off to see what he can pull up. I will say one of the scariest movies I ever saw was an Andy Griffith movie. When he was very young, he was a little nobody who from a little no place town. I think if I remember right, he started the movie like in the county jail because he ate at a restaurant and he couldn't pay the bill or something. Um,
It all it really says about it was actually called Salvage One is a 1979 American science fiction comedy drama series starring Andy Griffith as Harry Broderick, a clever junk dealer who builds a makeshift spaceship out of scrap metal to fly to the moon.
please tell me that that is available on streaming somewhere because I feel like I have to watch that.
Oh, let's see.
That sounds hysterical.
I mean, I'm getting YouTube links to some of the videos.
But anyway, the Andy Griffith movie I was just talking about,
My God,
he
Andy Griffith was even old in 1979.
but anyway, the movie I was talking about, he was like a little no-name guy who could play a guitar and sing. Somebody found him and said, "Hey, I think I can make a hit out of this guy," and they did. And it was seeing what happens when, like, that whole power corrupts absolutely kind of thing, and what he becomes, the horror show that he becomes, and it felt very modern. It felt very much like something that you might see uh, happening today. It felt like a very modern story. But that was a terrifying movie because Andy Griffiths, as an actor, was amazing. As little happy-go-lucky, good-hearted kid playing his guitar, who now turns into this evil monstrosity. Like, holy smokes! And you bought the whole thing, the whole transformation. It was horrifying.
Hmm. Oh, I saw something today that I wanted to bring up to you. There are at least one person has said it, and I think it might have started to have like a little bitty mini viral moment. But there's only three characters that truly matter in the MCU as being the best characters in the MCU. And right now, those three characters are Punisher, Spider Man, and Daredevil. That people are showing that they care more about the street level threats in the
Yeah,
TV shows and the movies than they do the world ending, the universe is coming to an end crap.
yeah. I've always thought that, and I've always thought it was a mistake for the MCU to jump so quickly to those kind of stakes because it's hard to come back from those kind of stakes.
Yep.
Um, but we'll save that. Let's talk comics first, and then we'll come back and talk about Spider-Man: Brand New Day.
All right. So the only because I have not been to the shop yet. Um,
Really?
yeah, really. The only comic that I have that
Because you've had a headache for 36 hours? Is that it?
yeah, really, that I actually read, and I don't even think it come out recently. I think number two come out this week, but I'm not sure. But on your recommendation, I did read The Dirt Beneath the Devil.
Yep.
This was really good. It was your typical Dan Panosian, though, and I love Dan Panosian's writing. I really do. But you're getting your story, you're getting hooked in, you're getting hooked in, you're getting hooked in, and then you get that final panel that makes you go, "What the hell?"
Yep.
And I love when he does that. I don't know why, but I love the way he does that. This was actually a really interesting story, the way they're setting it up. It's basically a woman that never knew her father. She was born in New York. Goes out west for the reading of his will, and it does take place in, like, say, the 1800s. Cowboy times. There's stagecoaches, all that good stuff. Um, but literally, she goes out there for the reading of the will. She meets a stepbrother she never knew. She obviously has another stepbrother. Daddy might have been related to Johnny Appleseed from the way that it looks, but part of his last will and testament is before they will even read the will, they're in one town and they've got to ride horseback to Wichita to where his ranch is at for the reading of the will, and it's like a couple of days ride. So, but it's and that this horse that her father had picked out for her to be on. Keep in mind, her father's never even met her. She's never met her father. This horse, there's definitely something going on with this horse.
Well, if you looked at on that last page that you're talking about, it's a close up. You see the horse's hoof is cloven.
Yeah.
And this book was originally going to be called Cloven. So you were like, how do you get to a name like The Dirt Beneath the Devil? Because that's a really long name. Um, and the name change was not communicated to anyone because it was a very last minute thing. Um, but apparently, Fantagraphics had a book called Cloven that had nothing whatsoever to do with anything like this at all. But they raised a fit that he wanted to do something called Cloven, so they put a stop to it, and to keep from being put through a cease and desist or any of that stuff, he changed the name.
Yeah, and Dan Panosian does an outstanding job of mixing horror and suspense with a really good story.
He is that. Yep, he really is. Um, so that was the only comic you got to talk about today?
Yeah, that was literally it. I will be swinging by the store tomorrow. I wanted to go by there today, but it's just school starting back, everything else this week. This has been a jam-packed week for us.
Um, what if Spider-Man? It's essentially, what if Craven the Hunter killed Spider-Man, and that's when he black suit is when he comes on up out of that grave. So he's kind of in that dead sort of state, and then he attacks Craven. Um,
Hey guys, y'all
it's
watching? Is
weird.
that me freezing or is that Josh freezing?
Am I
I got
freezing?
I got like the metallic sound while you were talking, then it froze a couple of times. So I don't know if that was me or okay. It says Josh, you're lagging.
I am not lagging.
He
I've
said
never lagged a
lagging.
day in my life.
He said not He said lagging, not lacking.
Oh, well, that's different. Anyway, if you like a Spider-Man story, and if you liked Craven's Last Hunt, this is an interesting what if of how things might have gone differently in Craven's Last Hunt. Um, we got the world's finest take your dad to work day, and dad being, of course, Alfred.
Did that say number one on it?
It's the annual.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's the annual. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's Geiger, Junkyard Joe Unleashed.
Yeah, that's a good issue because I did read it last week. It's a good issue. It's a skinch misleading though.
Yeah, why is that?
There's a lot more going on in that issue than just Joe Unleashed.
Okay.
So, and it's really it's a good issue, but it really sets up what's coming next.
I haven't read this mostly because the character of Lobo just drives me insane, in not a good way. I don't like Lobo. But that's the annual for Detective, starring Lobo. It's a good cover.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Lobo, big whoop.
Did you see
Um,
Supergirl yet?
no,
Okay.
I have not. Um, did you read Black Star #1? This is #2.
No, I did not. I saw it and I never picked it up.
Um, it was very interesting. Uh, Almost like putting together a D&D party of people from different time periods.
Keep
Kind
talking.
of
I'm listening to him. We'll try
stuff.
to adjust this light.
It was interesting. This is the art is really really good in this book. So done by somebody named Joe Picardo, which I wish I knew more about what Joe Picardo has done, but I'm just not familiar. Anyway, this book kind of takes place in different time zones, or and by time not time zones, time periods. A lot of different things going on. It's a hard plot to describe, but it's a solid book. Interesting story, very dark. Um, very gritty. The artwork's spectacular. It's a good read. I think you would particularly like it, Alan.
That is a cool looking cover.
Yeah, I think you would like it. Any of these others, just lots of limited series that are already three-fourths of the way through or further. There's a lot of these. I have not got to read this one yet, but it's the 50th anniversary of Rocket Raccoon. Uh, so I kind of feel like I need to give that one a look. Uh, it's
Well,
got some old stuff from back in the day printed in here. It's got some new stuff. It's got some very comedic stuff. It's an interesting book.
see, Rocket Raccoon was just never one of my favorite characters.
Rocket Raccoon showed up as a serious character, not a like a screwball comedy character, in Barry Windsor Smith's run on Machine Man. And I was like, holy smokes, who is this guy? This is super cool. And then he was never cool like that again. Ever. He was just the comic relief weirdness kind of a guy.
And see, I think
Um,
the only reason why he works so well in the movies is because of Bradley Cooper.
oh, I agree. Now, you were going to get something special on this cover, and you didn't get Mark to do it. What were you going to have him do?
I was actually going, and the reason why I never got him to do it was the authenticators were bringing over so many books there toward the end.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, my brother's hand has got to be getting tired. I'm not going to get him to do this. I'll get him to do it one day. But I was going to have him draw a pink heart around the butt
Okay.
and then write to the side of it, "You're a better model than Josh."
Rude. Rude. Dude, come on, bro. Um, what did you think of this issue, story wise?
uh, I tell you what, because I did text y'all when I got finished reading it.
You did.
I loved what Mark did in that issue. I thought it was just a touch demented.
Are you talking
Um,
about the line in the for the
the
Mark
the
Spears
line
comic
and
book signing?
yeah, and how oh crap, I can't even think of his name. How old dude ended up with those extra Mark Spears comics in the comic
That
book.
was brutal.
That was brutal, but then it's like you're unaliving your own fans while they're in line for your signing. I thought that was hysterical. So
Yeah, it was
def-
something.
yeah, definitely looking forward to the next issue. That one was a really fun issue to read.
I liked all of his little editor notes he had in here, like they used to do old school, like yeah, check out what happened in Amazing Spider-Man number 122. You know, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was great. Um,
yeah, I definitely like how in Midnight Man he's even poking fun of himself in it.
oh, 100%.
You know, there's a little self-deprecating humor in there, and I've always enjoyed stuff like that.
But I like that. I like the continuity. I like the way he pulls the kid from monsters forward and how he maintains that. I got to admit, the ending was a bit of a twist for me. I was not expecting that.
It's a good ending.
I mean, what's in the box, right?
Hmm.
I was like, holy smokes, man, that's crazy. I have not got to read this yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's the Superman annual
Oh, this issue was so good.
year 1000. This looks awesome.
Yeah. See, to me, okay, I've never liked it, especially Marvel got really bad about it. How the annual became just like another issue.
Yep.
Um, but this one that they've been leading up to something in the main title was Superboy Prime. And it all goes back to the Omega tournament, the KO, all that stuff. Superman's been missing ever since the end of the tournament. This right here tells you where Superman's been and what he's been doing, and now how he come back. And it's just so well written.
I'm gonna say, um, the artwork goes from like this,
Yep.
really, really good, to the very next panel being horrifying. Look at that face.
There's reasons for everything in this book. When you get to reading it, you'll understand what's going on.
I've got another book which I know nobody else has read, but I want to pass it over to you and get you to read it, Alan. See what
Okay.
you think. This is by a local creator who reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you think you could carry my book at your shop?" And I was like, "Let me see it first, because I've learned that I have to do that.
Yeah.
I can't just say sure to anybody." But it's called Snow Angel. I like the back, the cover on the back.
That's kind of cool.
It's essentially like a medic squad in the Arctic, um, and there's a fight going on. So it's these guys who've got to get in and try to save people. It's an interesting concept. It's not your normal kind of idea. Um, you don't see the medics being the heroes in a book very often. I think it's got some possibility. It's a good looking book. The art's pretty good. The story's interesting. Uh, it feels like it kind of combines a little bit of. It's a futuristic book. It's slight a near term future, but it feels like it combines like Mash with a little bit of Saving Private Ryan in
Okay.
the future, with maybe some Firefly or something thrown in. Really interesting book. But I want to pass it over for you to read, see what you think.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And then, of course, I got this because I couldn't resist. It was a Dynamics Forces thing. It was way more expensive than it should have been. But I'm a sucker for this kind of thing. So I got this.
Nice.
I know the guy, Ken Heiser, who drew this, is like, this is the easiest thing I've ever drawn.
Oh yeah, you showed me that Saturday night when we got back to the shop.
Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with that. That makes me happy. I'm easy to please, I guess, but it's pretty good. A second ago, when I was pulling stuff out of the bags to show my haul from FarleyCon, I forgot, in with the Ron Rudat stuff, he has a card, and on the back he has like story and stats and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
I was like, okay, that's neat. I like it. Um, so that was some good stuff. So we didn't have a ton of comics today because Alan hasn't gone by the store yet, but that's okay. We'll have more next week. But I do want to talk out. Did you finally get out to see Spider-Man: Brand New Day?
No, I'm going to do everything I can to go see that Saturday.
You were supposed to go see it Sunday.
I was supposed to, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't move Sunday. I was
Really?
I was scared that if I got up out of my recliner Sunday, it was going to run away.
Had to hold that thing down, huh?
Had to hold the recliner down.
I've had to do that before.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get a mind of their own and they take off. Well, that makes this a very difficult conversation.
Actually, it doesn't
It's a
because
very difficult conversation, Carl.
I pretty much know the vast majority. I mean, there's not. Let's just put it like this. There's not going to be a surprise in this movie for me.
I doubt that.
We'll see.
I doubt that.
Like I already know who Sadie Sink is.
Who do you think the
Um,
villain is?
do what?
Who do you think the villain is? Who's the bad guy?
Oh, now that I have no idea.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, kind of is what it is. I mean, just tell me. You're not going to ruin it for me.
Well, it's not that I'm afraid to ruin it for you. It's just there was some back and forth to be had there and impressions to talk about. And now I can't do that. So you just get mine.
Well, okay.
So this has to be interview style. You have to ask me questions.
All right, so here's a good one. Since you've seen the movie,
Yeah.
there is a rumor floating around that Sony and Disney has not dispelled. No one has come out, even the actor himself has not said any differently.
And he's
But
so good at keeping secrets.
yeah, and he's really good at keeping secrets. Um, but there are five more Spider-Man movies planned with Tom Holland.
I
After,
hope that that's true.
well, and that's what I was going to ask you. After seeing brand new, because I know that in Homecoming there was still a lot of people that was like meh on him. Um, then what was it? Far From Home and then No Way Home.
Yep.
Those never felt like my Spider-Man to me. And it was because it was leaning so heavy into the Tony Stark Avengers aspect of it. But now that we've seen Brand New Day and everybody says that he's back to being the street level Spider-Man that we grew up with, does the Brand New Day Spider-Man warrant five more movies with Tom Holland?
100%.
Fair enough.
I have zero doubts, qualms about that whatsoever. I
Yeah.
would. The fact that it's also the top grossing movie and broke all those box office records,
Yeah.
um, I think that's going to help the bean counters. See, he says, yeah, Keith doesn't like him. I don't know what you don't like about him. I think he is a really good Spider-Man, and I think he's a really good Peter Parker. I think he's a great combination of the two. Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker, but not such a great Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a great Spider-Man, but not such a good Peter Parker. I think Tom Holland is really good in both roles. Um,
But see, to me, there's just something about that first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie, Amazing Spider-Man.
okay,
I don't, I don't know why. I love that Spider-Man for some reason.
I love that Spider-Man. I didn't love that Peter Parker.
Yeah,
And this whole movie is character development and relationship development, and the central focus of the whole thing is exactly uh, that juxtaposition of Peter Parker and Spider Man, right? It's all about both of those things. Um, like I say, I thought Garfield was a fantastic Spider Man. I just did not think he was a convincing Peter Parker at all. Uh, but this is about being both Peter Parker and Spider Man. That you can't
yeah,
just be one of those things. That you have to be both. That's what this whole movie is about. That's in
yeah.
a
It's the
nutshell.
same thing with whoever plays Batman. They've got to be good at both.
Yeah, they have to be. Although I think in Batman's case, it's less important because you hardly ever see him as Bruce Wayne, except when he's like, I have to attend a rich party and do a thing there. That's about the only time you ever see him as that, or in those moments after he gets beat to crap and Alfred has got to fix him up.
Yeah.
Then you get some vulnerability in those moments as Batman that's really good. But see, you're a
And
tough man to please, man.
and see,
That's
I
tough.
think Kevin Conroy, to me, as far as Batman is concerned, he's on an island to himself. When I'm talking about the Batman, Bruce Wayne, that whole thing, I'm talking purely live action.
Me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
because Kevin Conroy, he did something that was like generational. I mean, it's nobody's going to be able to touch what he did, and that can actually live on for a long, long time.
Well, see, this I'm really curious about. What were you expecting it to be? That I would really like to know that. Because I thought Brand New Day was a phenomenal movie. It was so character focused. It was great. One unexpected character relationship that came out of this, which I think may lead the way to a story that you desperately want to see, Alan. Um, the character of Captain Jean DeWolf. She is a pivotal character in this movie
Why does that name sound familiar?
because the Sin Eater killed her in the comics.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. It might pave the way toward a story you really want to see.
But see, now, okay, here's my thing on that. If you do Sin Eater, to me, that movie needs to be pushing borderline horror.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to go full tilt, gritty, borderline horror for Sin Eater.
But she played a very important role here, and she was killed by Sin Eater. So there's some possibility that down the road they're thinking about that. Um, but yeah, ask me some more questions. Let's see what else is percolating in your brain about this movie.
Okay, so I had heard that they do not do a good job explaining his mutation, why it's happening, or anything.
That's the one thing I thought they spent too much time talking about. Um, it kind of is a catalyst for the whole point of the movie. Honestly, um, it has to do with that whole Peter Parker versus Spider-Man thing.
Yep.
Um, that was my least favorite part of the movie, but it was the catalyst behind the whole thing, and they did explain it quite a lot. Okay, you wanted it to be more funny. Okay, I get that. This was not as much of as comedic as the first movies. It was much more like driving a character from a pretty rough place into a new place. I think it will be the next movie will be more lighthearted. I think, just in general, based on the direction that it was going at the end of the movie.
Now, one thing that's kind of confused me with like some of the spoilers that I've seen, like some of the people online talking, and then a couple of clips that I've seen, uh, him and MJ, do they just end it and he ends up with Jean Grey?
No,
Okay, because it does get kind of confusing on that when you're only getting bits and pieces online, and I was kind of hoping that I'm not a fan of Zendaya as MJ. There's nothing wrong with Zendaya. I've seen plenty of Zendaya movies and stuff. I've enjoyed her movies. I've enjoyed, absolutely love the Greatest Showman, but she just never worked as MJ for me.
interesting. I think the character wise, the main difference between MJ from the early comics, especially versus the way that Zendaya plays her, uh, Zendaya plays her a bit more quiet and not as like bold in your face. Hey, face it, Tiger. I'm gonna just step into a party way late, and I'm gonna come in and dominate the room, and everybody's gonna notice me. She does not play the character that way, and I don't know if that's because she was directed not to play the character that way, or if that's just her interpretation of it. But that is a key difference in the way that she is portrayed. That I can see if you really like that aspect of MJ from the comics, that you might not like her portrayal of MJ here. I like her in the role.
Yeah.
I do acknowledge that it's a very different perspective, different portrayal of that character, though.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the portrayal of the character. Let's just put it. I think you said it
Yeah,
better than I did. It's the
yeah.
it's
It's not the actress. I mean, she's quite capable of acting any
yeah.
number of ways, but it's the role that she was given and the way that she was directed. Um, and it is very different from the character of the comics. I
Yeah.
100% agree with that. There is a moment in this movie where she falls from a big height and he has to dive down to save her, and he fires that felt very much like Gwen Stacy falling off the bridge. And I was like, "Don't you do it! Don't you do it! Don't you snap her neck!" Um,
See, now I really wish they wouldn't have done that in this movie, just simply because.
you would have to be a complete comic nerd like me to even see that reference at all.
Yeah, but also at the same time with the whole Gwen Stacy falling, not getting caught in time, and then MJ falling, and then Spider-Man catching her in time. We got closure on that in the last movie.
Yeah,
So I don't think it needs to be a reoccurring theme that they're always freaking falling and Spider-Man's always having to save them.
it was a very different circumstance from that. It just had shades of it. It was like an echo of that,
Yeah.
less so than a big plot point or anything. But for me, it was just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. I've seen this. I've seen this. Don't do it. What else you got? What other questions do you have for me?
Is Jean Grey the only mutant?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Interesting. Could our villain be Mr. Sinister?
No.
No, well that sucks. I really want Mr. Sinister.
You'll
And
probably get him in an X Men movie, but it ain't him in this movie.
well, fan casting has got Adam Driver as playing Mr. Sinister.
That would be perfect because I hate Adam Driver.
I think Adam.
I
See,
can't
I
stand
don't
him.
hate. I
I'm sure
don't
as a
hate.
human being, he's great.
Yeah.
When he's on Saturday Night Live, I think he's hilarious. I love the way he pokes fun at himself and things. But Adam Driver just drives me nuts. Uh, as Kylo Ren and all that, I can't watch it. And then there was that movie he did with I think Matt Damon, where they were like the knights in the French court or whatever, and they get into a fight and kill each other. Um, I was like, I just don't buy him in these roles, and I don't understand people who do.
Now, okay, let me say this about Adam Driver because you mentioned Kylo Ren. Did not like Kylo Ren. I did not like the way that that character was portrayed. But Adam Driver did something that I thought was really cool in that role.
He killed Han Solo.
I think he pulled it that he pulled no, this is in the third movie. He pulled it off, and I think he pulled it off in a really good, convincing way. And that was, third movie, The Rise of Skywalker. He's Kylo Ren and everything. But when he shows up, he has his moment, and when he shows up on Exegol to save Rey, you no longer saw Kylo Ren, you saw Ben Solo. I think he pulled that switch. He flipped that switch perfectly in my mind. I think he did a great job at that. Now, what to me, what weren't those movies was what's his name running around for 3 movies straight screaming Ray's name. Um, Finn.
Finn.
Yeah, Finn. That was his name, Finn. I got so sick and tired of that character, I couldn't see straight.
I liked Finn. I just thought it was really weird that he's like this random, like, ooh, I can do lightsabers. Like, I've never seen one of these before, but oh, look at me. That felt weird.
Now, there were a couple of people in the movie theater, and I think only like I don't think anybody really got it because I did see the person in front of me googling it, and Chris and my wife is like, "What are you talking about?" But my son was like, "Ooh." In the first movie, when the one stormtrooper that everybody latched on to, when he flipped the baton out there and screamed "traitor," before I could stop myself, I went, "Give me Scar Squadron, give me Scar Squadron." That's they had the perfect opportunity with that one stormtrooper to deliver us the Scar Squadron,
They did.
and it was just squandered.
Well, that's
Yeah.
largely, I think,
Sorry, we got
because
off topic. Those movies, I have a love-hate relationship with those three particular ones.
that's fair. Because there's aspects of them that are really good,
Yeah,
and then
there's
there's a whole
aspects
lot
of
of them that are like, what the heck is this?
yeah.
Spider-Man, ask me some other questions. What do you got?
Um, Cameos. Do we get any other cameos that we do not see in the trailers?
I don't know. I don't
Other
know. I haven't seen the trailers.
Well, in the trailers we've got was it is it Hammerhead? or whatever. Um,
I don't
we had
recall saying
Tarantula.
Hammerhead.
We had Tarantula. We saw Scorpion, Jean Grey. Um, naturally Hulk, naturally Punisher. We
Were you
had
talking
the
about Tombstone?
Tombstone. But what was the one cover where the dude is like tilted in and his head is slamming into the brick wall as Spider-Man's jumping over it?
That was Hammerhead, I thought.
Yeah. Um, I know Tombstone is in it, and then we have a cameo by the Hand. I've heard that there is no Daredevil cameo,
That's correct. I was
which
shocked by that, but that's correct.
there should have been.
Agreed.
So those are the cameos that I've seen in the trailers. Oh, and I mean everybody knew Sadie Sink was going to be playing Jean Grey. I don't know why they were trying to
No, they
keep that.
didn't.
Oh, dude, I was like, it's Jean Grey.
I didn't know.
Now I was so sure of it that it didn't even phase me.
I did not know that. How would I have known that? I didn't read anything about it, and I didn't watch anything about it.
Well, as soon as they said she was cast in the movie, I was like, they're not going to waste her on someone. They're wanting to introduce the X-Men. She's going to be Jean Grey.
I genuinely thought she was going to be a live-action Spider Gwen potentially.
That probably would have been really cool.
It would have been really cool. She would have been great in that role.
Yep.
But that's who I thought it might be. But no, and those cameos are,
Yeah.
and it's just part of the like lead into the movie. That's it.
And
For
I'll
most
be
of them,
honest.
the for the Hand, that's not true. The Hand plays a more prominent role, um, and so does Scorpion.
Um, how about the Hulk and the whole Bruce Banner thing?
Fantastic.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Mark Ruffalo on any level.
It it is. It's a little bit of an analog to the whole Peter Parker Spider-Man thing, and it's part of uh, how how they resolve elements of the story. If you're not a big fan of Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, you'll like how it ends. His part of the story, how it ends. Um, there is a fight scene with Hulk and Punisher and Spider-Man all going after each other that turns into Spider-Man and Punisher going after Hulk, and that scene is fantastic.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I've seen clips of it, and the only thing that was missing was Daredevil.
Agreed.
Yeah,
That would have helped.
I know there's a either she's in it briefly or there's a reference to Cindy Moon.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's everybody wants to talk about the heartfelt moment where Aunt May comes to him in a dream or some crap.
He's just remembering something. It's not a dream or anything. He's just
Okay.
remembering.
And I did have to look it up. That was actually Ramrod was that character's name.
Ramrod. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ramrod. So, and then my girl Yelena is in it. I don't know what it is about Florence.
She is hilarious in this movie.
Dude, I'm not a big fan because generally she just doesn't make the type of movies that I watch. But Florence Pugh as Yelena is like Chef's Kiss top tier as far as I'm concerned.
She's so funny. She plays that character so very well. Um, no, she's great. She's really, really good.
And how and now okay, like Laserbeak says, Punisher is a big old teddy bear. How bad do they water down the Punisher in this?
Hmm. In some ways, quite a bit, and in other ways, not at all. Um, he and Spider Man have a relationship that is very much like two brothers who love each other but hate each other at the same time. And it's a lot of fun to watch. The back and forth between them, the relationship between the two of them was one of my favorite aspects of this movie.
Because I know we definitely were not going to get one last kill Punisher in this movie.
Um, hmm, no, you don't get the gratuitous and excessive violence. You don't see that. But he is loaded for bear, and he he does not pull any punches. When I said that fight between Spider-Man and Punisher against the Hulk,
Yep.
that is flipping great.
And see, the
Like at one
punishment.
point, I'll just say at one point he's standing there and he's got his machine gun. He's like, and he's shooting at Hulk, and Hulk is like, boom, and Spider-Man has just grabs him, like webs him, and pulls him back, and is dragging him across the floor, right? And
Yep.
he's still just on being pulled across the floor on his back, just going, ah! Just firing away, just screaming like he does, right? Like nothing but pure anger. And if anger alone could kill, I am stronger than you, Hulk. Um, there was some stuff like that you're like, oh man, yeah. Um, when Spider-Man goes to where Punisher is holed up, and he's got that place booby trapped within an inch of its life. It's fun. It's a fun little bit. But the relationship between Punisher and Spider-Man is great.
See, with Punisher, I'm hoping that he is. They only do TV series with him, and they pull him to the big screen every once in a while for parts like this.
I suspect that's going to be the case.
And I hope they, and I'm like 99% sure they'll end up doing the same thing with Daredevil. He'll
I'd be
always,
okay with that.
yeah, he'll once they get wrapped up the Devil and Cell Block D storyline, they'll be able to, kind of pull him up to the movie some. But when it showed the hand, and knowing that the hand is going to be the primary villain next season in Daredevil, but when they showed the hand and then they showed the prison, I'm. How can you not have Daredevil in that?
Uh, it makes a kind of sense.
I'm not going to accept anything you tell me about that. How can you not have Daredevil in it?
I don't disagree that he should have been there, but it does make a kind of sense.
Oh,
Uh, I
you
don't
know,
know how growing on you as Punisher, man. I don't get how he wasn't like the Punisher for you the minute you saw him. He was for me. I absolutely bought him from day one.
I,
I love Barenthal as Punisher.
that rooftop scene between him and Daredevil in the
Oh my
Daredevil
god, that was so
Netflix
good.
series, I've been sold on Bernthal ever since. And I hated him to the point in the Walking Dead TV series that I could have cared less if I ever saw him again. And was actually a little mad when he got cast as Daredevil. But that rooftop scene,
He got cast as
I
Punisher.
mean, yeah, he got cast as Punisher. That rooftop scene between them two turned me completely and totally around about him.
I did love that scene, but I tell you the one that really got me. There were a couple. The scene where he lets himself be caught and brutally tortured, and that was part of his plan.
Yep.
And you're like, how do you have room in your head to plan for that's going to be okay? They're going to take a drill to my knee, but that's part of my plan. Like, no, I will find another plan. Thank you very much. Uh, that scene was so Frank Castle. That was so Punisher. And then you have that scene in the prison where he's stuck in that little hallway with all those guards or with all those prisoners, and that
Yep.
brutal fight. Holy smokes, that was good stuff.
See, it was so stupid and simple, but it was perfect for the Punisher character, was I believe it was in season 2 when he's getting into the bar fight and he's standing there on the dance floor and he starts barking at the guys that he's fixing to fight.
Yes.
I could not stop laughing because it fits that character perfectly. I was like, he's freaking barking at him. He's barking like a dog at him.
Yep, he was.
So good.
So I have a question, Grace, if you're still hanging out. I don't want to spoil anything there, but the last time that you see Frank Castle in this movie, what did you think of that? Because I thought that was fantastic and it made me happy and I loved it.
Uh, Honestly, Nosh, I think the best that we're probably ever going to get on something like that is going to be the TV show from the 80s with Bill Bixby.
I got to agree. I have to agree because that was such a brilliant. It was better than the big explosion, all that stuff. I thought that was really well done. Um, the gamma radiation and all that, the way that that happened in the TV show, I thought it was great.
Yeah, because like the Hulk movie with Eric Bana was such a waste of a great actor. Eric Bana did the best he could with that role, and the direction they went in with that movie, I was sitting there watching it, looking around, going like, "Do we need to get high to understand this? Is it one of those types of movies? What's
The
going on
minute
here?"
they had the giant pink poodle as a major threat to the Hulk, I was done. The minute they turned the absorbing man into his dad, I was done. Get out of here with that.
Yeah,
That was nonsense.
and I know it's not an unpopular opinion. It's a split opinion with a lot of people. I loved Edward Norton as Bruce Banner and the
I did
Incredible
too.
Hulk. I
I thought
thought
he
he
was
was
great.
phenomenal. But it's I'm not going to say they've Disneyfied any of these characters, but they have definitely changed stuff up to modernize the story and to fit the overall story that they're trying to tell. So as far as, and I know that you love the Hulk, as far as a Incredible Hulk purist, let's get right down to it. I think your best bet is just going to be the Bill Bixby TV show.
I couldn't agree more. It was a phenomenal show, and I can still hear that song in my head. Yeah, as he's hitchhiking down the road. Yeah, I still hear it.
Yep.
It was such a good. It was such a well done show. Did it? Were the special effects everything that we could have hoped? They were back in the day. They were great.
Dude, back in the day when he turned into the Hulk, that was terrifying for a child.
When those eyes hit that green glow,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he
And
looked,
you heard that noise that it made?
yeah, you won't like me when I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
That was Bill Bixby, and so good, so good. I remember Thor showing up in the Hulk. I remember Daredevil showing up in the Hulk. It's good stuff. I don't remember a second Hulk.
Now, I remember when he picked the bear up over his head and threw it.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I remember where he was part of how he became Hulk. He was a scientist. He was studying like cases where like a mom, just a regular mom, her son is pinned under a car and she's trying to save his life and she lifts the car off of her son. And he's like, how did she do that? Right? And so he starts studying cases where this kind of thing happened, where people exhibited extraordinary strength. And he's like, why are they able to do that? And he traces it back to these are days when there are gamma radiation spikes and there was stuff like this, right? And that's what gives him the idea. And then he has himself injected with all this gamma radiation. Um, I thought it was just a really good thing. I also remember from uh, that beginning episode where he's got an egg and he hands a kid an egg and he's like, I want you to crush that egg in your hand. And the kid's like, okay. He says, now I want you to take this egg and I want you to push on it with both hands like this, at the ends, not in the middle, but at the ends, and break that egg. And they're like, and it won't break. And he's like, there's strength there. It's just the angle that you hit it at, right? Because that same egg, you just, and it breaks. Um, it's just the shape of the egg and the pressure and how that pressure gets distributed when you put the pressure in the right places. Uh, but it was a really cool origin story for the Hulk in the TV show, and the show itself had an incredible tone most of the time. It was just really melancholy,
Yep.
but phenomenal show. I do not remember that at all.
I gotta look that up now.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I'd like to, if that was streaming, I'd like to go back and watch that too. Here lately, I've been catching a lot of clips, like showing up in my algorithm for Linda Carter or Wonder Woman, and boy, I'm glad that I remember thinking Linda Carter as Wonder Woman was the coolest thing when I was a kid. Like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And looking back on it, that is such a product of its time, and it has not aged well at all.
Oh,
She has, but the show did not.
it says he was actually the second voice of the Hulk. This is what it's saying here.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you had read the early comics, Grace, in the early comics, he was Bruce Banner by day and he turned into the Hulk at night. And it was very much a Jekyll and Hyde story. Um, and he was not a very good person when he turned into the Hulk. He ended up like becoming a better person, but that was all thanks to Rick Jones. It really wasn't anything about Bruce Banner. It was really bizarre. Uh, but yeah, those early issues of Hulk present a very different character of the Hulk. It's strange. Any other questions you got about Spider-Man, dude?
No, like I said, I'm gonna try to go see it this weekend. We got plans tomorrow evening, so I'm angling for maybe Saturday morning. That named the first. Okay, let's go back then. Google. It was. It says. Fun fact: Lou Ferrigno voiced the MCU Hulk up until Ragnarok. He wasn't pleased with the news and stated multiple times that he could do a better job. What's the Incredible Hulk? Let's see. Okay, so it was Ted Cassidy voiced the Hulk seasons 1 and 2, and it was voiced uncredited by Ted Cassidy seasons 1 and 2, and later by Charles Napier seasons 2 through 5, after Cassidy passed away.
Huh. Interesting.
And it's literally the growls and the roars of the Hulk were voiced by these two people.
That's
So
interesting.
technically, if you really and truly want to look at it, you had three Hulks.
Yeah.
You had Lou Ferrigno as the body, Ted Cassidy as voice, and then Charles Napier later on after Ted Cassidy passed away. I did not know that. I always assumed it was season 4, episode 12 and 13 of the Hulk. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna get to the bottom of this sooner or later.
Going down this rabbit hole.
We said that was season 4.
You did.
Episode was it 12 and 13?
That's what he said. While
Says
you're
okay, season 4, episodes 12 and 13 of the 1978 Incredible Hulk television series comprised the two-part story titled The First. It says it was originally broadcast in 81, features guest star Harry Town, blah, 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 blah. Episode 1 breakdown. Banner travels to a small town, investigates legends of a deceased scientist named Jeffrey Clive, who experimented with solar radiation 30 years prior and supposedly created another Hulk. Um,
Interesting.
says that Banner meets Clive's former assistant who harbors dark ambitions involving the research. And then in episode 13, Del Fry successfully reawakens the primitive gamma powered creature Dr. Banner must face or must race against the clock to synthesize a working antidote. And it has the potential to basically cure him also.
We're dragging Nosh down this rabbit hole away from his dinner. He's like, now I gotta see what's going on here. What's happening? Uh, that's something we ought to do. We ought to go back and dig up those first episodes, at least of the old Hulk TV show, and give those a watch and come back and report to folks.
Oh, where can you stream those at?
I have no idea. They're probably
Yeah,
not
we'll find
streaming.
out.
I bet they're not streaming unless it's on Tubi or something. But even then, I doubt it.
Dude, I love friggin' Tubi. Says,
Tubi or not Tubi?
uh, yeah, apparently you got to be extremely specific on which Incredible Hulk.
Well, it was just called the Hulk, wasn't it?
Hey, Josh, guess what?
What?
It is on Tubi.
Of course it is.
But it says, or you can purchase the digital episodes through Amazon. I'll just watch it on Tubi. I've got no issues with Tubi whatsoever.
Kolchak the Night Stalker was good. I agree with you there.
That was actually on Svengoolie, however you say his name, a couple weeks ago.
I believe that. I believe that.
Jack the Night Stalker.
Well, yeah. Let's go back and watch those first couple episodes over the next few weeks and come back and report to people.
All right, we can do that.
I think that should be fun.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
We can start recapping them in a block at a time.
That sounds like a fun thing to do, honestly.
It really does. That's right up our alley.
It really is. That's some good homework for us. You got any messages for folks before we sign off?
Get to the shop, pick up your comics, and let's talk about them next week.
Nosh, that is 100%. That little tune that they play in that show, it is. It's just like it finds that nerve in your brain, that bit in your brain that says "fire off the tears." Works. That is like some of the saddest music. It just hits you right in the feels.
Oh, I meant to tell you before I forget. We kind of briefly talked about it on the way home Saturday.
Yeah.
I started reading that book, Empire of the Vampire. It's a trilogy, and it's more dark fantasy than anything else. The first couple of pages are a little rough, just because of some of the stuff that it's borderline sacrilegious. But the further you get into it, you start getting understand what's going on. Dude, I think you would like it. It's more dark fantasy, but it is amazing so far. The
All
whole
right.
premise, the whole premise is something has happened to block out the sun. You know, it
Okay.
takes fantasy world. They kind of speak like a hybrid between French and Italian. Some of the things that they say, um, completely and totally made up lands and everything. But they think that a star fell from the heavens, and that's what's blocking out the sun now. But that has given the vampires the ability to walk in the day because the
Okay.
sun can barely shine. It's almost like perpetually dusk. How about that?
Okay.
Well, there is a group of they're like warrior monks. Their mothers were human, but their fathers were vampires, and these people are what's called pale blood.
Okay.
Instead of pure blood, they're pale blood, and every once in a while they will inherit some of the traits of their fathers, like being able to talk to animals or being able to control someone's mind or like super strength, and it's really hit or miss with them. And
Okay.
they're waging this war against vampires, and it's been going on for decades. And where you actually, they're called silver saints, and their tattoos are actually silver ink to help them in their battles. Um, and you pick up with the last silver saint has been captured and is about to be executed. But before they execute him, the vampire historian and the queen wants to know his entire story so they can document it for future generations. So you're reading what is essentially an interview, and it has been 10 times better than what I thought it was going to be. It's like I said, it's really not horror. It's more like a dark fantasy.
Okay. That's
So
good
I
to
would
know.
definitely check it out.
Yeah, I'll give that a whirl. One thing I was going to close with. Let's. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me get to. Okay. I got a text from Aaron. Um, it's the kind of text that had someone else sent this to me, I would be really concerned for them in a number of ways. But because it was Aaron, it makes perfect sense, right?
Yep.
He said, and I quote, Brainiac hugged me today. I
Done
was like,
messed up, AA Ron! You done messed up, AA Ron!
but yes, he says, Brainiac hugged me today. And that cracked me up. I loved it.
Yeah. Anybody else that would have been a weird text message.
Yeah, it really would have been. Um, that's funny. But all right. You guys have a great night. We will catch you all next time. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Big Nosh, always good to see you, brother. Lay off those 14-hour days. Those are exhausting. And
Mm.
we will try and catch you guys next time. So looking forward to that, and we will see you soon.